There comes a moment in life when you realize that loyalty is not a language everyone speaks. You stood by them, gave them your time, your trust, maybe even a piece of your soul, but they turned their backs when you needed them most. It stings, doesn't it? That feeling of being let down, of having your kindness mistaken for weakness. But here's what they don't understand. You were never weak. You were real. And real ones don't break. They transform. Betrayal is a mirror. It doesn't define you. It reflects them. The lies, the deception, the disloyalty. It was never about you. It was about their inability to be honest, to be strong, to be true. And that's a weight they will carry long after you've moved on. You don't need to fight. You don't need to prove anything. Time has a way of peeling back the layers, revealing what was hidden. And karma? It doesn't forget an address. What they planted, they will reap. What they stole, life will take back. Not because you demand it, but because that's how the universe balances itself. So let them go, let them think they won. Because while they're busy looking over their shoulders, waiting for consequences to knock, you'll be too far ahead to hear it. And when that moment comes, when they finally realize what they lost, it won't be your burden to carry. It will be theirs. Betrayal exposes, not defines. Betrayal is one of the hardest truths a person can face. It strikes deep, not just because of the act itself, but because of what it reveals. We often believe that loyalty is a two-way street, that the love, trust, and commitment we give will be returned in kind. But life has a way of showing us that not everyone holds themselves to the same standard. When someone betrays you, it's easy to internalize the pain, to ask yourself, was I not enough, or did I do something wrong? But the reality is this: betrayal says nothing about you. It does not define your worth, your kindness, or your integrity. It only exposes them, their weaknesses, their fears, their inability to stand beside you with the same honor that you stood beside them. People who betray others are often fighting battles within themselves. They deceive, they abandon, they break trust, not because you deserved it, but because they are incapable of being honest, of being strong, of being true. They take advantage of loyalty because they do not understand its value. And in the end, that is their burden to carry, not yours. The pain of betrayal may linger, but it will not break you. Instead, it will sharpen you. It will teach you who truly deserves your presence and who was merely passing through your life as a lesson. Let them expose themselves. Let them show you who they are. But never let them make you question who you are. Silence is power. There is a moment after betrayal when anger rises, demanding justice. The urge to speak, to call them out, to make them feel even a fraction of what they put you through. It's strong. But the greatest response is not rage. It's silence. Silence is not weakness. It is control. When you refuse to react, you take away their power. They expect a fight, an argument, a plea for answers. They want to see your pain because it validates what they've done. But when you give them nothing, they are left to face themselves. And that is a punishment far greater than anything you could say. Time reveals all things. Lies unravel, deception crumbles, and the truth always has a way of surfacing. Those who betray you may seem to be winning for a moment, moving forward as if their actions have no weight. But life does not let such things go unanswered, and when the consequences come, they won't be able to escape them. There is wisdom in stepping back, in letting karma do its quiet work while you walk away with your dignity intact. Silence speaks volumes. It tells them and the world that you were never on their level, that you never needed to scheme, to hurt, to betray. You stood in truth, and truth does not need to shout. Let them wonder, let them question why you didn't chase, why you didn't fight, why you didn't break, because in the stillness of your silence, they will hear the loudest message of all. You were never defeated. You simply moved on. Growth through pain. Pain changes people. It sharpens the edges of who you are, forcing you to see the world and yourself differently. Betrayal is one of the deepest pains a person can experience, not because of what was lost, but because of what it reveals. It forces you to face an undeniable truth. Not everyone you love is capable of loving you the same way. At first, it feels like a wound that won't close. The weight of disappointment, the sting of disloyalty, it lingers. But over time, something remarkable happens. The pain that once felt unbearable begins to shape you, to strengthen you, to refine you. It teaches you where to place your trust, how to set boundaries, and most importantly, how to stand firm in your own worth. Growth does not come from comfort, it comes from the moments that test you, from the heartbreaks that force you to rebuild. You may have lost people, but you have gained wisdom. You now see through facades, recognize empty words, and understand that true loyalty is rare, and when you find it, it's worth more than gold. One day, you will look back and realize that the betrayal that once threatened to break you actually built you. It made you stronger, wiser, and more discerning. You no longer waste time on people who do not value you. You no longer entertain the ones who only take. Because now, you stand in a place where pain no longer defines you. Let karma do its work. When someone betrays you, the natural instinct is to seek justice, to expose their lies, to make them feel what they made you feel. But life has its own way of balancing the scales, and it does so far better than we ever could. Karma is not about revenge, it is about balance. What people put into the world always finds its way back to them. The betrayals, the dishonesty, the selfishness, these are seeds they have planted, and no one escapes their own harvest. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but life has a way of making sure that every action meets its consequence. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to prove a point, explain yourself, or even watch for their downfall. The best thing you can do is step back, heal, and move forward. Because while you are growing, they will be facing the weight of their choices. Those who hurt others believe they are untouchable. They mistake temporary victories for permanent success. But what they fail to realize is that the universe moves in cycles. And when it's their turn to feel what they have caused, no amount of excuses or running will save them. So let them go. Let them think they've won, because in reality, they have only set themselves up for what's coming. And when karma finally arrives, it won't need an invitation. It will come knocking, all on its own. Your story isn't theirs. Betrayal feels like a chapter that rewrites your entire story. The pain, the loss, the disappointment. It's easy to believe that this moment will define you. But here's the truth. Their actions do not shape your destiny. They are only a footnote in a much greater journey. It's tempting to dwell on the past, to replay the moments, to question what you could have done differently. But the longer you look back, the harder it becomes to move forward. The people who betrayed you, they were never meant to stay. Their exit was necessary for your growth, even if it didn't feel that way at the time. You are more than this betrayal. You are more than their lies, their disloyalty, their selfishness. You are still standing, still growing, still becoming the person you were always meant to be. And one day you will see that their betrayal was not a loss. It was a redirection. It cleared the path for something greater. They might think they played a major role in your life, but in reality they were just passing through. They were a lesson, not a destination. And when you finally move forward, truly forward, you'll realize that they were never the main character in your story. You were, and you always will be.